Hello, welcome to today's Yin Yoga session. Yin Yoga to get the blood pumping. So this class is particularly useful for the winter months, for the cold that we're experiencing at the moment. So anybody who gets particularly cold, who has poor circulation, especially if you tend to get chilly hands and feet. So what we're going to do is stimulate the circulation in the body through the hands and the feet, but also stimulate the energy in the body. Many of the meridians, the lines of energy that run through the body, start and end in the hands and the feet. So this session can also be useful if you're feeling a bit lacking in energy. Yes, welcome, Fusel, if I'm pronouncing that right. Welcome to the cat's bum, actually. She's obviously being a bit camera shy today. Hi Linda, hi Sivanch as well. Hello to anyone else who is there. So let's get started. Merhaba. Let's get started. Right, pussycat, we're going to start now. So we're going to begin with the hands. So I want you just to come onto your knees or any other seated position that is comfortable for you. And we're going to put the hands on the floor. So what we're looking for is to stretch on this side of the fingers and the palms as well. So first of all, just put the hands on the floor, separate the fingers. You can have the fingers facing forwards to start with, perhaps lifting the palms up and pressing down, well, bringing your weight onto the fingers. Now play with the position of the fingers. Try them sideways, try them backwards, and see where you're getting a stretch in the palms and the fingers, not the wrist so much. We're going to do that afterwards. So play with the position. We don't want too much compression on the front. And you might find actually that having the palms a bit lower to the floor works more for you. So just play with that, moving them around, feeling a stretch. You can also play with the position. You can move them closer to you. You can move them further away. You can even put them on your legs if you want to. That's fine as well. So I'll just give you a couple of moments to find the best stretch or a good stretch that we can stay in for 2 minutes now. And then just relax. And notice how actually by relaxing, you might automatically, you probably will be putting more weight actually on the hands. And if you find that's too much, because that will have increased the stretch, then by all means just adjust it again if you need to. We'll be in it for 2 minutes. Well, about 1.5 now, just under 1.5. So as always, we want a mild to moderate sensation in our target area. Our target area here being the fingers and the palms. Make sure that you're relaxed. Make sure that there is no painful compression on the other side of the hand, on the back of the hand. And if there is, then please do adjust the position of the fingers, the position of the hands. Just got just under half a minute now. And if at any point in any of these poses you feel like it's too much, and even by adjusting the pose it's still too much, then just come out. So we're going to move directly to the next one. So this time we want to stretch the inside wrists. So we're going to, your fingers are bound to feel fragile here. we're not going to put weight on the fingers so much. What we're going to do is we're going to put the hands on the floor or the legs. Move the position of the hands. And this may well mean moving your body weight, so that we feel a stretch on the inside wrists this time. So you can have the hands by the sides of you. And again, move the body weight, move it forwards, move it back. Move the hands maybe a bit more forward, you want more stretch, a bit further back, you want less. Again, you can put the hands, if you want to, maybe if you've got quite short arms, for example, perhaps you might want to put the hands on the legs. But we want to feel a stretch on the wrist. And again, move the hands into whatever position you want to stretch the wrists. You're probably, not necessarily definitely, but probably going to be wanting them to be, the hands to be facing the other way around, as you can see mine are. So we're going to stay in this for about 1.5 minutes now. Is this okay to stay in? Can you relax the rest of your body? Perhaps closing your eyes, feeling the sensations, noticing, as I'm sure you will be, that one side is very different to the other. Not surprisingly, because of course most people use one side more than the other, right-handed or left-handed. So the likelihood is that you're going to be feeling more tension in the hand and the wrist that you use more. Just over 30 minutes now. Of course, these poses that we're doing for the hands and the wrists today are also really good to do if you use your hands a lot. Computer work, of course, being the most common, but of course there are so many other types of work and hobbies where you use your hands a lot. So this is stretching out the hands and the wrists. Okay, let's slowly move. So then just let your hands rest on your legs. Close your eyes. Notice any sensations that you can feel there. Hands, fingers, wrists. They're bound to feel fragile. They're not really used to being stretched in this way, stimulated. And likelihood is that your hands are going to be red, which is fine. We're stimulating the circulation, we're stimulating the energy, so it's no surprise. So when you feel the sensations start to pass, then before we move on to the next pose, let's just bring in a counter pose. So just make very small movements with the fingers to start with. Small movements, getting bigger and bigger, taking your time, don't rush. Hands and wrists are bound to feel fragile, so just making those fists getting bigger and bigger. Spreading out the fingers. And then circling the wrists one way. Again, getting bigger and bigger. And then circling them the other direction as well. All right, so then we're going to go on to the feet. So let's just go on to hands and knees, tuck the toes under. I'm just checking that you can see. Yeah, you can see my feet, that's fine. Basically, tucking the toes under so that the weight is on the toes. So what we want to feel here is a stretch in the soles and the underside of the toes. So again, we're going to play with the weight. This is key with these poses. Playing with the weight to find where you want the stretch, where it is a mild to moderate stretch that you can stay in for around 2 minutes without there being painful compression on the front. So you may find that actually sitting up, then that's the right amount of stretch for you. For many people, that will be too much compression on the front though, actually. So then I would suggest going down onto the hands and knees, whatever point you need to go to. It's different for different people. And then play with that, maybe something in the middle. And then you can stay there for 2 minutes, just over 2 minutes. Now, anybody who is still finding it's hurting too much in the fronts of the knees, then I would suggest taking some kind of support, anything at all, doesn't matter what it is, anything that you can raise your knees up with, so that your knees are a bit higher. That might not be enough. Yeah, and then there's not quite so much flexion in the toes there. And you might even want to go a bit higher than that. You play with it, just raising the knees up so that there isn't as much compression in the fronts of the toes if you're finding it's too much. Now I also do want to make sure that we're going on to the little toe as well, because obviously the little toe is little, so it might be missing out a bit. So I just suggest just move on to the sides of the feet a bit, whatever position you're in, so that you've got more pressure on the little toe side. So we're just kind of opening up the feet, I suppose, so that there is more pressure on the outside of the feet as well, for the last minute or so. Keep the rest of the body relaxed. And again, you might notice that as you relax, then your body actually feels heavier. And that will ultimately put more weight in the pose. And if that's the case, then it's too much, then back off. So if you've been in this now, if your knees aren't up on something, then I would suggest untucking the toes, sitting back down, kneeling position or another seated position, something that is neutral, closing your eyes, noticing how the feet feel. If you've got your knees on something, stay a little bit longer. You're going to be in it for another half a minute or so, and I'll tell you when it's time to come out. Notice how the feet feel. How the toes and the soles of the feet feel. What we're doing here, as I mentioned at the start, is stimulating circulation in the body through the hands and the feet, but also the energy. 12 major meridians through which energy flows, qi, according to Chinese medical theory. Start and end in the feet. So we're also stimulating that energy. So I would like you, sorry, if you've got your knees on something, then please come out and sit like us. Talking too much as always. Sorry. Just want to tell you stuff. So basically what I'm trying to say is you may feel that release of energy. Notice if you do. And then what we're going to move on to next is the fronts of the feet. So we're going to do this through an ankle stretch. And I will move this way to show you this time, I think. We're going to do this one-legged, 2 minutes each leg. So just bring the knee up to whatever point. Doesn't need to be the same as me. You can move the foot a bit forward and a bit back as well. I just want you to spend a bit of time finding where we're getting a mild to moderate stretch on the front of the foot and the front of the toes ideally as well. You can put your hand on the floor, doesn't matter where it is. You might be more or less sideways than me, you might be a bit more upright, you might be a bit further forward, you might be a bit further back. Play with the position of the leg, the foot, and the rest of your body. Remember, the rest of your body doesn't matter as long as it's comfortable. We'll be here for just under 2 minutes on this side, and I'm going to try and stop talking for those 2 minutes. Close your eyes, if that's comfortable. Remember to back off if it's too much, or come out if it's too much. Always, always listen to your body and don't push. Okay, so then let's just bring that knee down. And we'll go directly to the other side. So again, spend a bit of time. You can put something underneath this arm or this elbow as well, if that helps you to relax a bit more, if that's a bit more comfortable. Don't look at me, don't try to copy me. Never try to copy me. Use me as an idea of the general shape. But actually what I'd rather you did was listen to what I'm saying and the adjustments I'm giving and try them so that you can make the yoga suit you. You shouldn't adjust for the yoga. The yoga needs to adjust to suit you, the physical practice of yoga. It's for you. It's not for anybody else. In this session, of course, today, as with all of these short Facebook sessions, they're great sessions, but they are actually taster sessions for my Thursday classes. So if you feel like this is beneficial for you and you'd actually like to do more, or you particularly like the theme, or you just like to do a longer Yin Yoga session in general, then just check my events page for the Thursday classes. You're welcome to join online. Okay, so we're going to come out of this, bring that knee down. And just to finish, while we're having the rebound in those ankles, just close the eyes for a moment to notice that. Again, change your seated position if you want to. I'm comfortable in kneeling. It doesn't necessarily mean that you are. So notice how they feel. Notice how you feel. And then just going back to the hands. And we're going to do this in a little bit more of a yang way. We're just going to give a bit of a stretch to the other side of the fingers and the back of the hands. So first of all, just bring that thumb down and then place the finger on top somewhere. So what we're trying to do is kind of give a stretch to the thumb. So you might want to put it, for example, on the bottom half of the finger. And then when I say doing it in more of a yang way, we're being a bit more active. So we're just kind of pulling or pushing actually on the thumbs there with the finger, so you've got a bit of a stretch in the thumb. Yeah, so in Yin, obviously, as you know, we're passive, we're not using the muscles so much, but we're doing this in a bit more of a Yang way. We're pushing on the finger a bit, on the thumb. Then I want you to do the same with the first finger, with the forefinger. So you're going to put the thumb on there. Obviously don't push too hard, but you are going to bring a bit of active pressure. We're going to push down a bit. Yeah, so we can feel a stretch in that forefinger. But do keep the rest of the body relaxed. Make sure that the breathing is natural. Stretching the other side, noticing how that even goes into the backs of the hands, or it may do. Next finger, same thing, thumb. Find a place where that is for you on that middle finger. That could be any part of the finger. And then just push on that. I don't know why I've got my arms out here. You can still close your eyes and notice this. The beauty of yoga is that it is or it should be, a practice where you can bring your attention to your body and notice what's happening. And then the next one, the ring finger. Notice if any of those fingers are feeling particularly tender. For me, for example, for some reason my left hand, the ring finger, is feeling quite tender. So I need to be careful not to do this quite as much on that one. Let's not injure ourselves, eh? Keep the rest of the body relaxed. And then on the last one, the little finger, just in case you didn't know. And then let go. And then just to finish, Noticing as we gradually move into the final pose, which is also going to be a bit more yang. It's all relative. We're going to do the same thing, but we're going to do the wrist, yeah, but the other side of the wrist. So I just want you to, for 30 seconds or so, to push on the hand so that we're stretching the outside of the wrist. Not a lot. As I said, it's all relative. This is yang in that we are using the muscles and we're using the muscles basically. But obviously this isn't as yang as if we were doing a vinyasa flow or something. Do keep the rest of the body relaxed. Yeah, it's going to be about 45 seconds for each, so another 10 seconds or so for this. Apologies for any noise in the background. Okay, and then the left hand as well. Very likely you feel different both sides. Again, notice how that stretch in the wrist can be going into the arm. I'm feeling that myself very much in the left arm. 30 seconds. I will shut up. Okay, so let go of that. And I'd actually like everybody to lie down for the rebound today, the final rebound Shavasana, because I really just want to totally have the hands, the feet, the ankles and the wrists completely neutral. No pressure on them whatsoever for the last couple of minutes. So close your eyes. Notice any effects. So then that bell signifies that it's time to move if you want to, but by all means, if you would like to stay where you are for longer, please do. Otherwise, make your way back up to a seated position to join me. I'll meet you here. Just close your eyes if they're not closed already. Once more, notice any effects that you can feel. As you breathe in, bring the arms out to the sides, palms together above your head, and as you breathe out, bring the palms down to graze the head, face, and to the area of the heart. Breathe in again, and expel the air. Thank you, and namaste.